about a 3-second delay. All right, everyone. Hopefully we're live. Welcome, welcome. If we are, can somebody give me in the room here a heads up or a thumbs up that we are live in the Facebook group? Because I'm having trouble with my multitasking. Yes. Okay. Wow, look at that. We're live streaming again today. I'm so impressed with us. Welcome, everyone, to the launch party Meet the Author special interview. I wanted to have music, but I couldn't figure it out. I wanted to have all the bells and whistles, and in the end, I had to say, Kristy, there are limits to what you're capable of doing at the same time. So it's one of the most important things, and we were just talking about this off camera. One of the most important things that we want to get across here is authenticity. And if we, excuse my French, fuck up a little bit, then that's what happens. And that's okay, because we're human, we're neurodivergent types of humans. And when a nervous system gets stressed and anxious, which it's bound to do with a launch like this, sometimes the brain doesn't work the way we want it to. I know there's nods in the house. Everyone's like, yep, hello. So what are we going to do here today? Firstly, I'm going to welcome all the authors again. I know that you know who they are, but we've got some faces on here again that we didn't see this morning. So reeling everybody off in order. Well, no, not in order. It's just completely out of order. Sam, Samantha Morrissey, wave. Brennan, I want to say, Brennan, everyone, we're just going to call Brennan in, energetically speaking. Brennan, when we say his name, he seems to pick up on it and he's here. Often that happens. Bren is unwell today, unfortunately, and the energy that we've generated with this launch is a lot for a neurodivergent nervous system. So he is just staying behind the scenes, but his energy, his presence, his love is with us. Calling in Natalie, Miss Natalie Ann. There she is. We've got Sarah, who can't be with us just now, but she might pop in later. Sarah Elizabeth. We've got Cassie in the house, Cassie Wisby. We have Joan Martin, who is also our illustrious cover designer. Yay. Rachel Gill. Waving, thank you, nice to see you. Josh and Bernadette. Now, they're a double team. So Bernadette is the mum of King Josh, as he likes to be called. Joshua, he's also not very well, unfortunately. So our young men, unfortunately, haven't been able to come on today. He broke his rib a couple of weeks ago and is in quite a bit of pain today. So if we can all just send him lots of love, and Brennan too, to get their bodies back up and running again. As I said, it is a lot for our nervous systems. And those of you who are neurodivergent in the house, you understand. And I'm imagining you're going, how do these people even show up on camera? How do these people even write a book, even write a chapter? And how do they get over their nerves and anxiety and overwhelm to be here today? Well, I'm here to tell you we're all masking incredibly well. We're trying not to. All right, Eva, welcome to the party, Eva Lee Drescher. Woohoo! She's got her fancy new glasses on. And not here with us, but also in spirit, is Shannon Vandenberg, our keynote author. She's a international published author, and she lives in Denver, Colorado. So we're very pleased to have Shannon holding space for us in the background as well. Hopefully I got everyone. I think I did. Here comes Sarah. Yay. All right, we want to speak to you guys, our people, our supporters, all of you lovely folk in the house, out there observing us and supporting us and caring for us as we take our message. Hi, Sarah. This is Sarah, everyone. Take our message out into the world. We have a lot to say, and one of the things that I have found so humbling, really so humbling, and I find myself in an enormous position of privilege to, oh, goosebumps, there's Bren, to be able to guide these authors to not just write a few words on a page. This is not what this project's been about. It has been about finding our own voices first and foremost. looking back and reflecting on our own journey of neurodivergence. And as we know, neurodivergence is a spectrum. Not one of us is the same. So whilst our journeys are all unique and all very different, and we've all had tragedies and difficulties and challenges and things that we still struggle with on a daily basis, through this process of writing our chapters, we've looked at that experience, no matter how old we are or how young we are, or whether we're male or female or not, you know, whatever. We are reflecting on what brought us to this moment, and we have shared through that process what we found inside all the mud of our previous life experience. Because everyone has a history, everyone has a past, everyone has crap that they've had to sort through. You know, we only have to look at COVID to know that everybody was affected, right? Everyone's got stuff. And so one of the things that we did in our stories was look for the gold that's buried deep under the surface of our masks. And in that process, we got to start to shed some of the skins that we've been living in, the stress skins. We got to unlock the walls around our hearts and take those walls down, firstly with each other, which has been a very big thing for all of us. Many of us have enormous trust issues, you know, because being neurodivergent comes with trust issues. It comes with lack of confidence. It seems to come with anxiety and overwhelm and depression and physical disability and all of those things, you know. So we first learned to trust ourselves and then trust the group. And then over time, we're now trusting you. We've expanded our window of tolerance to be able to show up here today and to speak our truth and share with you what we've learned throughout our own journeys of lived experience as neurodivergent people. For those of you, and I'm sure you all know, but just to qualify, neurodivergence encompasses anyone who diverges from the idea of normal. There is a brain function difference with all neurodivergent people. So whether you've had PTSD or ADHD or DID or autism or any other hidden disability or intellectual disability that has created a change in your neurology, you are neurodivergent. I don't care for the labels so much, and you'll hear me talk about this a lot. What the label of neurodivergent, though, has done is bring us together. It's helped us go, hey, I think I'm different. I'm not sure what kind of different. I'm not sure how I got this way. I'm not even sure what neurodivergent is, but I have this innate sense that I have never really belonged in normal society. I never really made sense when I was a kid of the things that were going on around me. I didn't understand when people said one thing, but their energy said something completely opposite. And right from a very early age, we learned to distrust ourselves because what we were sensing with our amazing multidimensional sensory system didn't match in the world outside of ourselves. And so if that's been your experience, if you are feeling this resonate, and I'm getting goosebumps all over my body, so I'm pretty sure a lot of people in this room can resonate, not just us. If that's you, if you've always felt like you didn't belong or that you were odd and you tried to play yourself down, or you acted out because you couldn't figure out what was going on, or you couldn't understand what people were saying and didn't understand what you were feeling, and you've got all these extra sensory abilities, and I will call them abilities, because when they're harnessed, when they're channeled, when they are focused, when we learn to address our nervous system and deal with our previous traumas, our nervous system comes back online in a really powerful way. And we can start to harness our hypersensitivities and our hyperfocus and our distractibility and our creativity and innovation. We can start to harness those things in a way that serves ourselves and makes life easier for us and our families. And then from there, when we start to feel a little bit more contained in our bodies, embodied, and a little more regulated in our nerves and a little more focused in our minds, we get to be able to do things like this. And it might undo us in the process temporarily, but through this project, we have learned that, quote, I can. All of these authors have come from a place of, I don't think I can do this. This is fucking hard. I don't think I can, but there's something in me that believes otherwise. And I believe that's our souls. I believe that that's the part of us that knows better than our brains and is in cahoots with our body and moving us to places that we never thought we would be. So this is what we're all about. I read the blurb earlier, so if you would like to go back and watch the link release earlier this morning, then go ahead and do that, tell you a little bit about the book. Hopefully all of you have read or at least have bought a copy of the book. I'm just going to do a little bit of housekeeping and then we're going to hear from all the authors. First of all, buy the book. When I was talking to my authors about the promotion phase of this, we all, everyone was like, oh my God, do we have to ask for people to buy our book? Do we have to like put ourselves out there and ask for help? What? Another little trait of the neurodivergent person, not very good at asking for help usually. So I'm going to do it on behalf of all of us. I've learned to overcome my fear of asking for help. So please buy our book, share it with everyone you know. The more people who share this book, the more people will benefit from our words, from our experience, from our wisdom, and start to believe that they too can have a voice, that their voice matters, that it's important, that it has, oh, something beeped, that it has power and potency, and that our words can actually serve humanity in a really meaningful way. We're not just telling you the things that we've had trouble with. We're showing you a way to move from darkness into light. And every single one of our authors has proceeded through that experience over the last almost 12 months since we started this journey together. So buy a copy. What else? Buy a copy. Girls and boys in the chat, in this Zoom room, please remind me of stuff that I forget, because my brain is like peaking right now. All right, so all the proceeds, all the money that we make from your purchase goes to our nominated charity. As a group, we voted on who we would like the proceeds of the launch sales to go to, and we chose an amazing, no, I've forgotten, Rachel, Reframing Autism, got it. Reframing Autism is an amazing neuroaffirming organisation here in Australia, and I encourage you all to go and check them out. My trusty assistants, Bea and Christine, will drop the links under the chat here for you to go and check them out. You can look at that after the live. We love this charity because they are very much in alignment with our belief system, which is everybody deserves to be seen and heard, and that our authentic identity as a human is what's important. As I said before, labels are helpful because it helps us connect with people like us. But then at some point we need to drop the labels and recognize that we're all human, and it's actually our differences that actually unite us, differences and our similarities that unite us. So whether you're neurodivergent or neurotypical, we love you, and we believe that everyone deserves to have the right to speak and be heard and seen in this world. Okay, so that's, did I say that correctly? Reframing Autism, yes? All right, so that's what I was going to say. When you all buy a copy, it pushes us up the Amazon rankings. That is how we get, oh, I think I did say that. That is how we get noticed, right? The more people who buy, Amazon goes, oh, wow, look at this. This must be a good book. And they show it to lots more people. Okay. So Joan says in the chat, promo and copy of purchase. Yes, thank you. Right. So as part of that, you're going to drop your screenshot of your book purchase into this group. When you do that, you go in the draw to win some crazy ass prizes. Woohoo! You might even win the opportunity to be in our next book. The Wisdom Keepers Volume 2. Amazing. I've been waiting for Spirit to drop that one into my lap, and I was twiddling my thumbs all week going, what is it going to be? What is it going to be? And of course, Spirit left it right to the last minute, as they tend to do. Or maybe they probably didn't actually. They were probably just trying to tell me, and I was too busy in my head trying to do all of this. And I didn't hear until this morning or yesterday, actually. So Wisdom Keepers number 2, you may win a chapter in that book. It's worth $3,500 to participate in the group project. It's a 6-month long project this time. We have done a 12-month project for our first one because I was new to multi-author book publishing. I've published a solo book before, and I've participated in many of these multi-author books, but I haven't actually led one before. So I gave us 12 months to get it right, and I think we've done an amazing job. This next one, 6 months. Very exciting. So the project, volume 2, it's going to be a hybrid. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know we could do a hybrid. Okay. So what it's going to be is lived experience neurodivergent people like these beautiful authors that sit with you here today, neurodivergents who have always felt like they wanted to publish, who have ever thought, oh gosh, I really have a story to tell, but I can't even begin to know how I would ever get my story out into the world. Or perhaps you just love writing and it is your voice. Maybe you're nonverbal. Maybe you are really bad at articulating using your face, and you have a gift for words. You know, communication is communication. Some of us use our voice, some of us use our typewriters, some of us use letterboards, right? And I'll talk to you about that soon. Some of us use computer apps. It's all communication. And through this volume 1, we have used all manner of different forms of communication. And it's important to me that we make sure everybody in the space is supported in ways that they need to. Obviously, it's an online program, so you need to have a little bit of ability to be on social media and a little bit of ability to follow instructions on technology. Not complicated ones, and if you get lost, I always am here. Anyway, volume 2. So first is neurodivergent people who have always wanted to tell their story and have a big message, have an insight, have wisdom that they're going, I'm seeing something wrong in the world out there and I've got something to say about that. That's who I want. Then we're bringing in guidance from holistic health and healing professionals. I am so excited about this because as partners in health, the professional and the recipient of the health things, we're partners. One is not better than the other. And the more we can open a dialogue between professionals and the people to create therapeutic interventions and supports that work for neurodivergent people, the better off our entire community will be and the better off humanity will be, because we're growing innovators in here. Neurodivergent people are inherently amazing, innovative, interesting, diverse, curious, crazy, fascinating people. And we need professionals who have new thought around how to help us. So I'm really interested, as an ex-nurse, this is very close to my heart. I'm still a holistic counsellor looking after neurodivergent people. This is a really big deal. I'm looking for thought leaders who are in the neurodivergent space, either neurodivergent professionals or you work very closely with a very strong cohort of neurodivergent people. So that's volume 2. All right. That's a lot of words out of my face. All right, I need somebody else to do some talking. So without further ado, I'm going to open the floor and we're just going to have a conversation. And I'm going to go in order of the book, mostly for my brain, in order of the chapters as they're written. We're going to have a conversation with each of the authors. And I'd love to open up and invite the lovely, vivacious Sam Morrissey to the floor. Welcome, Sam.
Good afternoon.
Hi, how are you feeling?
Great. I'm excited to be here.
Excellent. I was wondering actually whether your four kids, where are they? What have you done with them?
We're actually outside with my nanny, so they're here, of course. Very
Yeah,
privileged. They're being fielded.
that's cool. We were talking amongst ourselves earlier, those of us who have got kids, it's raw and real, isn't it? We probably get interrupted, and that's cool.
Yep, always.
So, Sam, you've got four all neurodivergent?
All neurodivergent.
Woohoo!
Yep, all autistic, ADHD. Or my son, his technical diagnosis is autistic, but all the girls autistic, ADHD.
So fun. And what I love about, I've been working with you now for what, 2 years almost?
I feel like it's nearly 3.
No, is it?
Yeah, we've been together for a while now.
You came to me in a, can I be real? A state of
Yeah, go
disarray.
for it. Yeah, significant.
Really,
Yeah, unable to function very well.
yeah, struggling with massive anxiety and meltdowns really frequently. I think you were saying almost daily
Yeah,
meltdowns.
yeah, panic attacks.
Yeah,
Hmm.
huge. And now what are things like now? Apart from the launch day.
I actually feel really great about launch day.
Great.
Significantly calmer.
Yeah. And it's obvious too. I mean, in all the things that you're now doing compared to what you were doing before. And it's not just about doing, it's about being. So what is it about this journey that has been most noticeable in terms of how it's shaped you? What's come up for you during this process of writing?
Well, I feel like writing my chapter, the biggest thing that came up for me really was about the polarizing and contradictory nature of our experiences. And I think with neurodivergent people, it's especially polarizing.
Mm,
Um, Obviously, in my chapter, I discuss, the struggle that I experienced existing in a society and in environments like school, where being myself and speaking out to some of my really core values was actually had really significant consequences, which I'm sure nearly everybody, all of my co-authors and lots of the people listening probably understand. Um, and those things continue to really impact me
mm,
into my adulthood. But I actually came from this really safe and stable family. So I had parents who really, they were safe. They encouraged individualism. They encouraged speaking out. They encouraged questioning things. They raised me in a way well, they told me that I could pretty much do anything I wanted, that everything was figure outable.
mm,
And I believed them. So I came from this, you know, home where I had these really functional parents, and they also surrounded me with lots of really functional adults as well. And the polarizing nature of looking into those parts that had those really serious consequences. So I was very safe at home, but then when I moved into society and into different environments, who I was had these really big consequences.
mm,
Um, so I have this friend who always, she's a therapist as well, and speaks about the conflicting nature of life and how it gets to be both. So that was a really beautiful example in writing my chapter, and I see it come up all the time. But I feel like that was the biggest, I guess, the thing that came out of it and that I got to see really clearly, like coming from this beautiful safe home and having all this gratitude for parents that have raised me in a way that mean I can overcome the things that my environment, I guess, suppressed in some ways, but never fully suppressed, because it was like impossible for me to keep some of those values in. But that was largely due to this beautiful safe home where I belonged, like I always belonged. So, yeah, it's this really nice mix of gratitude for these amazing parents and this amazing family, and also just being able to sit in the fact that there were things that really did impact me and meant I couldn't be fully who I was, and that I had to really peel back those layers, which is what my chapter's all about.
Yeah, I love that. And that is definitely our experience as a collective, I think, is that dichotomy between what we need to appear to be on the outside, but not really being able to contain ourselves. And over time, that does create enormous burnout and enormous self confusion about
Yeah,
who we
yeah,
are. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So that was like a just this really big thing. I know everybody's going to read, like, there's a lot of adversity. Like, we all have to overcome a lot of adversity, especially as neurodivergent people, and you'll read about a lot of that in the book. And so it was a nice reflection and gratitude also in that nice safe home.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And it's uncommon for a
Yeah.
lot of us. Um, so
Mm.
when it does happen, you know, we want to celebrate that. And I think, you know, I love the fact that you are parenting in such a beautiful way, homeschooling your children and by lighting up your true self, as you call it, the going through the great unraveling of who you thought you were and finding out who you really are in your chapter. Being able to, what's that been like for you? Being able to know yourself, how is that impacting the children and your community and the greater population?
Well, I guess especially, well, everything starts for me with my children because they're this huge part of my life. They are homeschooled. And that was a big reason why I made decisions to homeschool my children, was because it was really important to me that they were able to be completely themselves,
Yeah.
and grow up in an environment that I guess combined all the beautiful things about my own childhood, but also supported them in ways that the differing environments in my childhood meant I did really have to significantly mask in lots of situations. Thankfully, well, I don't know if it was thankfully or not, but I was a very good actress. So, that was important to me, that my children, as much as possible, didn't have to experience that, because we can't shelter our children from everything.
Mm.
But I figure if I start there,
Yeah.
if I start here first, if I start with myself, and um, I can unravel that for myself and make decisions about what I don't want, learn to trust myself, learn to have confidence in myself, which we all lose a lot of as neurodivergent people in our childhoods, especially.
Mm.
Um, if I could first start there and then have that filter down to my children as well, so that they don't have that polarizing, super
Mm.
contradictory nature that I had in relation to my home environment and other environments that I had to participate in. I figured if I could make it that little bit easier for them, then that has a ripple effect, doesn't it? Out into
Absolutely.
the rest of the world. That's four people that will potentially not have to heal as much,
Yeah.
will potentially not have as much trauma. We all know they'll have trauma. We all do. But like, we can't protect them from everything. But, I guess that's where I went with it.
Absolutely. I completely agree. It's similar philosophy with my two as well.
Yeah.
They're both ADHD autistic too. And it was a strong decision of mine very early on to homeschool, because I could see the deficits in the education system, which Eva's going to talk to us about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just heartbreaking when you can also see the light of their capacity, the light of their
Yeah.
soul, the light of their abilities, if they were only given the right environments in order to thrive early on.
Yeah. Well, for my children, that's just not, I mean, of course it can be a thing still, but they don't have the same, I mean, they have never been to school, so I guess none of them have ever been to school. So I guess I'm only making assumptions when I say I feel like if they went to school from a confidence perspective, from an emotional maturity perspective, they would have been significantly impacted.
Mm. And
Um,
it depends on the child, doesn't it, too? So
yeah,
we're all
definitely.
neurodivergent, and every child is different regardless of whether they're neurodivergent or not. So
Yeah,
it's an individual. thing. And as a parent, I think we identify what do our kids need
Yeah, absolutely.
when you're in tune. And we have to be in tune with ourselves first, don't we, to be able to be in tune with our
Yeah,
kids. Yeah.
that's right.
So through this writing journey, what's the actual process been like for you? Like the mentoring, what's been the best part, the writing process, the self-development side of things? What's been the biggest cool thing for you going through this process to
Yeah.
publish?
Well, I like this chapter has been essentially a book in my head for a really long time. So I felt like the process of writing was pretty much exactly what I needed as a neurodivergent person. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who can understand this, but as an autistic and an ADHD person, putting things down on paper, I'm constantly fighting about the perfectionism and wanting it to be perfect, like my autistic brain, wanting the conditions to be perfect, wanting the words to be perfect, wanting everything to be perfect, and my ADHD brain pulling together the executive functioning that's required to actually get it down on paper to complete the process. It
Yeah.
was challenging. So the mentoring process and, your experience and your guidance, which is so intuitive and so well suited to neurodivergent brains because you understand them, was perfect. It was exactly what I needed to be able to get this chapter out.
Yeah.
And, you know, meeting the other authors. So like the process of, I guess, writing together systematically, the group calls, and just being able to experience that with everybody was exactly what I needed. It gave me the systems I needed as well as the collaboration,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was amazing.
Yay. Yeah, it's not an easy thing to sit down and write a book by yourself.
So,
The environment's amazing, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, it's lonely actually. I have written a solo book, so it's really lonely trying
yeah,
to do it by yourself.
yeah. Well, I didn't feel lonely this time.
Good. Not for me either.
Good.
All right, thank you so much, Sam. If people want to follow you and know what you're doing next, obviously everyone can read the biography, and there are links in the biography. But Sam is doing all sorts of amazing things. She's doing, is it a master's or a PhD in counselling? What was it?
Masters.
Masters, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And Sam's also currently about to graduate as a MEMAP coach with me,
yeah.
which is very exciting. That's a holistic model for lifestyle sustainability and personal development. So I'm developing coaches because there needs to be more coaches who get
Absolutely.
neurodivergence. Thank you, Sam. Anything else you want to say? I just took over then.
No, just thank you so much. It's been a wonderful experience. And to all my other co-authors, congratulations. You're all amazing.
Thank you so much for being first cab off the rank. You're so
No problem.
next we're going to talk to the lovely Joan Martin. Come on down. I feel like a game show host. Is that I don't think it's supposed to be that way. Anyhow, Joan, how are you?
I'm all right, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Feeling all right?
A little bit nerve-sighted, as I like to say. The
Excited,
excitement
yeah.
and the nerves all mixed up together.
Yep, I'm familiar with that one. So tell us a little bit about, well, let's start with your journey. How has it been going through this process for you? And you had the added, I'm going to say pressure, the added of helping with the graphic design and being our designer for the cover. So how's the whole writing and cover design process been for you?
Well, there's no need to say that at the beginning of this, I was one of those ones that went, really? Me? Why do you want me? I feel like part of my journey has been that joke, I was the last one to know. And that is that the realization that I am not neurotypical was very slow. I was slow to accept it. I was slow to see it. And when I spoke to friends, they would like, yeah, we've always treated you that way. And I'm like, what, really?
Used to
So,
be.
yeah. And so for me, I had no idea what I was going to write about. Actually, I thought I was going to write about my youngest and her neurospiciness and not myself when I started the project. And I had no idea how it was going to go with the cover design. I was very, very nervous about whether it was actually going to meet any expectations there or on time or any of those things. And of course, all that little self-talk comes, you know, the negative thinking and all that sort of stuff. But in the end, my chapter wrote itself because of the process that we went through. And I've chosen not to label things, but being able to explore, looking back, the impacts and things has been so cathartic for me. It's been really enlightening in terms of how being neurospicy has actually impacted my whole life. You know, I have memories of sitting at home with my mum and both of us crying because something had happened at school and I didn't understand, and she was crying because she couldn't help me and she didn't understand, you know, and being able to look back and go, oh, wait, this is probably why that happened. Actually has been really helpful and really healing for me. So, being able to do that in a group that is as supportive as this group has been and as open, everyone's been willing to share, and that gives you more courage as well to keep moving forward and to keep going. You know, the group energy has supported the whole project and facilitated by you so beautifully, which is really good. But yeah, just understanding myself better so that I can support myself better moving forward has been really valuable, really valuable.
That's amazing. Yeah, look, I had no doubts whatsoever that you could do it. It's like, duh. Of course you can. But what did writing your story actually change about you as an individual, as a person? How have you changed over the course of the year to get to here?
I think I'm more understanding of myself and I'm kinder to myself now. Like I'm gentler on myself. I can look back and go, hang on, this is why things happen this way. But also to know that it's okay and I'm not the only one.
Yes.
You know, knowing that you're not the only one that's going through this is so helpful, really. Understanding that I'm unique and that's okay. And in fact, that's actually potentially a really big benefit has been very helpful as well. I think quite often we're led to believe that being neurodivergent or different is problematic.
Yep.
And it doesn't have to be. And that won't remove all the challenges you're going to experience. But when you understand yourself, you can facilitate better experiences.
Yeah, massive self-acceptance. Self-acceptance is huge. I love that. I love that. So was that the best part of the project for you, or what's been the best part of this project?
Oh, I think there are two elements to the best part of this project. The first one is as an author. So knowing that I can help others explore what makes them unique in a gentle way and just get them thinking about things differently and learning about themselves and reminding them that it is okay and it might actually be good has been amazing. For me, that's like my life's work is to help people. That's what I want to do. And this chapter facilitates helping myself so I can help others.
Yes.
And that's really meaningful to me. And in the second part was as the cover designer, just the confidence, because I did manage to actually work with you and get something up that I'm proud of and that I know you're proud of. And it was such a great collaborative process. You know, we did quite a few different versions and we went crazy and then we pulled back. And I'm really proud of what we created. Yeah, that was amazing too. So.
Yeah, it was quite an interesting thing, even for me too, because, you know, sometimes in life we've not really been taught to communicate in a natural neurodivergent way of communicating. So I found it really great working with you, Joan, on that level, because I still have some, you know, challenges with how am I going to be received if I'm just my straightforward, blunt, no filter self. How is that going to be received by people? Am I going to be thrown under the bus, and am I going to lose my friends and upset my family? But with you, Joan, I was able to also access the real me and just go, hey, bang, 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 this is what I'm thinking. And you didn't take it personally and I didn't take it personally. And we kind of just got each other and went, okay, this is just us being us. And you know, ping-ponging ideas backwards and forwards. It was pretty fun. We got there
We
in
had
the
some
end.
really fun sessions. I think if anyone saw my notes, they'd be going, what the hell is that? There were some very random comments on the piece of paper, and I got it and you got it, but anyone reading it would probably have been very lost.
I know, that was the cool part. I'd like say something and you'd be like, yeah, except to the outside, it would have gone, are you batshit crazy? It was pretty fun, but we got there, and I think everyone, all the authors just love what you did, and we're pretty proud of the graphics. So thank you so much for that. I guess let's finish with what is the core piece of wisdom that your chapter brings forward? What is it that you really want the readers to know about themselves and their journey through life?
I think there is an element where labeling can be very helpful. Looking at labels allows us to look at aspects and compare them to ourselves and analyze things that we've been through so that we can understand ourselves better.
Yep.
And I think it's a really interesting process. Like one of my favorite activities through this whole thing was when you looked at us and said, pick, I think you said, I think it might have been 8 really big situations in your life. And then we went through those. I think I stopped at 12 because I went, oh, hang on, you better stop now. But being able to look at those situations from that label perspective and go, right, how did that situation get impacted if this label were valid, was really enlightening. But then being able to decide that I'm not going to let that label define me moving forwards, because we can get really boxed in by the labels and allow them to again become limiting. Yes. And we don't have to. And I think it's really important for people to understand you don't have to be limited. And in fact, some of the greatest minds that existed, I think if they had been limited by labels and boxes and having to be neurotypical, we would nowhere be where we are today as a society. You know, 100%. I'm sure some of the greatest inventors were definitely outside of the box thinkers. They definitely did not function the way the rest of society did. And we are those people and we forget that. And so I think it's really important for us to remember that, you know, you can do things on your own time and in your own way, and that is okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if there are people who aren't going to get it, because not everyone's going to get it. Let's face it, not everyone's going to get it. But you have to be okay with yourself. And to do that, you need to understand yourself. And to understand yourself, you do need to go back and explore. Why did this happen? How does this happen? What does it mean? But then how can I use this to make my life better moving forward is probably the biggest takeout. You know, I don't have to be stuck here. And I think every author on this book, and reading the chapters, I see every author on this book going, this has been my experience. How do I make the world better because of it?
Yeah. Absolutely. That's fantastic. I think that's so key. Yeah, the label is not the end destination, I think is in essence what you're saying. It's helpful in the first instance so that we can reconcile our previous reality and come to terms with ourselves through this new window, this new paradigm. And then at some point, there's an opportunity, if you want to let go of that label and just be you. And just be weird and wonderful and exciting and interesting and weird and more weird. And for that to be perfectly okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a sovereignty journey, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. And you can never be authentic to yourself if you don't know what that is.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a beautiful message. And I really love the sort of really introspective flow of your chapter. It's almost like we're literally inside of your heart, exploring in there in the recesses of your internal landscape, and it's a very beautiful read. So thank you so much, Joan, for all that you've done. I'm very excited that you came with us on the journey, and I really encourage everybody to read Joan's work. And if you want to, Joan, for people to follow you or look at what you do in work, in play, where can they find you? It's in the bio, but
yeah, well, they can find me on my website, which because I'm different, is a different URL. It might confuse people, but it's literally just wings.international. No coms, not dot, no AUs or anything, literally just wings.international. So my services and things are on there. I'm also on Facebook and I'm on LinkedIn, so people can find me there. And I work in different capacities, both, business and personal. I like to blend the two together quite often because they impact each other.
Yes, they do.
But yeah.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm glad you said that about the link, because even the editors and the typesetters went, is this right? This doesn't look right.
Yeah.
So for everyone reading phone, all right, we're going to go to King Josh. King Josh is not very well today. He's not feeling good. So I'm going to just give you a little bit of an idea about Josh's experience. He's given me some notes of what he wanted me to talk about a little bit. I'm acting as his voice box. And Bernadette and Josh, Bernadette is Josh's mum, as I said earlier. Josh was born with a congenital brain disorder that impacts his cognitive skills and speech. Technically, the pathologicalization, if that's a word, of humanity have said Josh is incapable and not going to be a functional member of society. Well, he's got news for them. Josh has gone, well, I don't think that's true. And he's taken life and is running with it. So the evidence-based tests gave him an IQ of 50, moderate intellectual disability, which back in the day was also called mental retardation. So today his disability is mostly invisible, which is phenomenal. And not because he's masking, because Josh actually doesn't have the capacity to mask. So in a way, you've got unfiltered Josh in his awesomeness, just who he is, front and center. But because he's invisible, his disability is invisible, that's brought its own set of challenges, because often people have expected certain things or not expected enough of Josh. But what he has discovered is that his biggest his biggest barrier isn't actually his disability. It's that people aren't allowing him to be himself and to shine in the way that he knows he can. So he's not broken. And one of the proofs of that is that he is now officially a published author. Yay, Josh. His chapter is number 3. And this is the genesis of everything. So in his own words, it's the genesis of everything he's achieved so far. And yes, he has received a lot of support, as many of us have. It takes a village. Every single one of us can attest to the fact that they have not done this on their own, me included. My family have had to be incredibly supportive and often listen to me rant for hours about my book, and they've become very bored and really over it. So it does take a village to raise any kind of a human to their best potential, to activate their true potential. So Josh's motto, which we love, is every good thing is possible. And Josh lives by this. You'll find in his biography and in his chapter, he talks about his experience in the job market. So trying to find his place with meaningful employment as a neurodivergent person. And it's a really enlightening read, and it really gives some very grounded understanding of what it's like for people who are misjudged and misplaced and not seen and not heard properly. So if anybody ever doubted what Josh was capable of, they need to put that one to bed now. His current goal is to learn and work on his literacy, his numeracy, and his communication skills, not because he has a disability, but to be able to be an effective self-advocate. And after being a self-advocate, to be able to advocate for others and to fight the tyranny. I love this statement that he wrote here, to fight the tyranny of low expectations. I love that. I think that says it all. And he wants to let you know there will be more from Josh in his next book. Watch this space. Josh is going to take it and run with it all the way. I'm really glad to have Bernadette and Josh. Bern has helped him sculpt his chapter. So we've got both voices, the mother and the son voices, which is a really special addition to the chapters in this book, having the two perspectives side by side. So that's really wonderful. All right. Thank you, Josh. You're a winning guy. It's been great having you as an author. And thank you, Bernadette, for bringing Josh into the space. It's been lovely. Okay, next up we have Miss Cassie. I'd love to know, Cass, just jump into the chat if you feel able to say something yourself. And let me know if it's okay for me to... Oh, yes, you're going to say something yourself? Yay, Cassie, you can do it. You can do it, Cass. Do you want me to ask you the questions, honey, or you can read from your notes if you wish? Whatever you're comfortable with is fine with us. Over to you, sweetie. Do you want to start with just describing how the journey's been for you, perhaps, what that's been like?
So I get pretty, when I'm put on the spot, I get pretty, yeah, I kind of lose my words.
That's perfectly
So
normal.
yes, so yeah, I kind of wrote everything out to these
Y-
questions.
Yeah. Do you want to read it, honey?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay.
Once I find it.
I think it's worth noting, none of us are particularly comfortable in front of a camera.
No.
There's a reason that we're writers. And also, you know, this container, it's very special for that reason too. Online tends to be in some ways safer than being in person for some of us, and for some of us it's the other way around. So it's quite confronting to do things in this way for many of us. So I'm so proud of you, Cass. Do you mind if I
Thank
say,
you.
you know, when Cassie first came in, she couldn't turn on her camera. She didn't engage in the chat. She was nowhere. She was listening. She was listening and absorbing for quite a while. I think it took, what, 2-3 months, Cass?
Oh, well.
Yeah. And then a picture went up. We're like, oh, Cassie put a picture up. Anyhow, go ahead, sweetheart.
Okay, so the journey to become a published author has been such an incredible journey. I think it's been full of every single emotion possible. I feel like I set out to write a chapter in this book, and not only did I achieve that, but have also learnt so much about myself just from this process. I've had the opportunity to meet some amazing people and have grown so much as a person as well. From this process, I've directly grown and worked through some personal issues I didn't even know were there. There were many times I felt like I couldn't do it, but with Kristy, the authors' support, and of course my tenacity, I have again pushed myself out of my comfort zone and achieved this amazing accomplishment. I'm so grateful I was given this opportunity and that I took the chance to do this. Writing something for the world to read has always been something I've had people say to me that they think I should do, and it sat at the back of my mind until just over a year ago when this opportunity basically fell into my lap. I always thought I'd be much older if I did this, but here I am today, 36 years old, a published author. Yes, I'm so grateful for the people closest to me and all who have stuck by me throughout the years, for their support and belief in me, which has helped me to be able to stand firm and feel proud of the person I am today. That's my answer to that question.
Oh, so beautiful. Thank you. It just has been so amazing. The girl that I met a year ago is completely different. Completely different. It's been amazing watching you grow and flourish and dare, right? This has been daring for you. And I totally knew you could do it. You've got a beautiful lyricism with your writing style that's just gorgeous. It's really beautiful. So, you know, for those of you that are ready to read and you've got your copies, Cassie's story is just lovely. It's also quite hard. It's a quite hard story to read as well. It's probably both ends of the spectrum, I reckon, in terms of experience. Cass has had a rough a rough upbringing, a rough life up until now, but she is, as she says, tenacious, like I've never seen anyone before. Not letting the world get her down for very long at all. So, Cassie, I know that you've got a lot more to say. So what's the biggest message that you hope to share through your chapter and through this experience for other people who might be sort of floundering around in the darkness and struggling with their own situation?
Again, I've written that one out as well. So the biggest message I hope to share through writing my chapter is that no matter your difficulties, no matter what you've been through or how far you feel you have gone, with the right support, tools, and belief, you can turn that all around and live a life you feel is worth living one day. Don't give up. Keep searching for the answers you're looking for. Of course, that is not always easy. And in my case, there were so many times I really did not believe that would ever be possible. But I kept getting back up. And although it took many, many years, I feel I'm finally on the right path to living a life I can be happy and healthy in. And that feels so incredibly amazing that I cannot even really describe it. For those who are supporting individuals struggling with their reason for being, feeling like they don't belong in this world, not knowing what way to go, please keep believing in them because they probably can't do this for themselves right now, especially if it's been a long time. I hope you can see that I'm proof that even after decades of being stuck in medical institutions and systems, that everyone has something to offer the world. So please don't give up on the people you love. Keep encouraging them. They need you more than you can ever imagine. And even if you feel like you can't do anything for them, just know that by being there without judgment or expectations will mean more than you will ever know. I'm feeling a bit emotional.
Very emotional. Gonna make me cry. Way to make me
I can make
cry.
myself cry.
Oh, and wow, straight from the heart, Miss Cassie. I think that is just so perfectly said. It is a lot. It is a lot for the person who is drowning in misidentification or trauma, or as you said, stuck in the medical system and they can't see a way out and they don't know if they'll ever be able to live effectively. That message to not give up, them not give up, but also their caregivers to not give up, because at times for the caregivers too, it appears to be hopeless, doesn't it, at times? But Miss Cassie, living proof that if you want it, you can do it. Is it going to be hard? Yes, it is, isn't it, Cass?
Yeah. Not promising it'll be easy. Probably
Definitely no. Definitely not an easy journey. Cass and I have been chatting almost every day, I think, the last 2 weeks. Yeah. And it's great because we act as reflections of each other in this space. And I think that's one of the most important things about this book is these aren't just people, who are just throwing some words on a page. We have experienced a lot. And if you readers out there are also experiencing a lot, then there's definitely major hope in certainly Cassie's work and all the authors. Yeah. Oh, so Cassie, is there anything else that you feel drawn to say? I'm so proud of you. Just so proud. All of you, of course. Yeah, it's just magnificent to see the woman that you are now. It's just amazing. Amazing. Okay, I'll start to cry again. So I'm gonna move on. All right. Thanks, Cassie. So moving on, our next author, unfortunately, Brennan is also not well, but also he's so sensitive. This beautiful, beautiful man, young man, Brennan is 21 years old. We celebrated his birthday together on Sunday in the group. Brennan is just incredible. For those of you who don't know about, there's a podcast called The Telepathy Tapes. And I didn't know about that podcast or about that particular understanding of neurodivergence from an outside perspective. I thought I was the only one who had the ability to converse with beings on a telepathic level. I have that talent also. And when I met Bren, I heard his voice in my head, and then I got waves of goosebumps running through my body, and I'm like, oh, that's you. And then he typed on his spelling board and told me that he was thrilled to be invited to this book experience. That was about a year ago. Since then, Bren has been in and out of our private sessions. I've been working alongside his mother, Micah, who is a beautiful being, and she is Bren's proxy from time to time. But Bren has written his own work throughout the course of the last 10 months to 12 months. It'll be 12 months by the time our paperback's finished. Brennan and I had lots of conversations where we would sit together and he would use a letterboard, which you will see in his chapter. They've just put the board as a picture into his chapter. And he would type out one letter at a time to form a sentence. The sentences that came forward from Bren are the most intellectually amazing, like complex intellectual capacity that I have rarely met in a normal human, let alone somebody who is a level 3 autistic. He has profound disability. He has gross motor control challenges. I don't know, Micah, you'll have to correct me when you watch this later. Forgive me if I'm getting this wrong. I don't know what the proper term is. Bren can speak, but his verbiage is confused. So all his words get mixed up. And occasionally there'll be one word in a string of words that makes sense. And then Micah has learned how to interpret some of that. But Bren's primary form of communication is telepathy with Micah and using his spelling board, and he spells. Oh, that's right. It's a speller. He's a speller, right? That's the term that's used. So one of the things I asked Bren right at the start when we first met was, what theme would he like to explore as the main topic of his chapter in the Wisdom Keepers? And he spells. I've typed what he wrote in capitals because that's how he communicates. And he said, it would interest me to explore more of the nervous system and etheric connections that instill themselves within it. So over the course of the 12 months, we explored that in depth, and he wrote many, many things about that. To get a chapter to published was enormous, because it takes Bren almost, 10 minutes to write a single sentence. And that's if it's not a complex sentence. That's if he doesn't have something really important to say, which he does. This young man has so many important things to say, and I am just incredibly proud of him and so privileged to be a conduit with this book, to have created an opportunity for his amazing thoughtfulness and cosmic wisdom and understanding of humanity to be able to give him an avenue to express himself has been one of the highlights, I would have to say, of my life. He is an incredible young man. So the next thing I asked him was, where is it? The changes to the nervous system, is this giving rise to a new human nervous system, or our human ability to access new universal information and understanding? And he said, yes. And it's about learning to use the wondrous nervous system that we have. I think what I contribute is about the etheric titration that occurs as others refine, meaning as others refine themselves, their nervous systems. Bren finds it difficult to be around dysregulated humans or low-frequency humans. He also finds it challenging to be in the space where the energy is very, very high. he's very excited about being a published author, but the excitement was too much for his human nervous system. But he was able to convey a lot of things to us during the course of the time that we were receiving his information that would go in the book. He ended up writing a very beautiful, very poignant poem. That was the time that he had available. So he chose to write a poem that talks about how he bridges the two worlds between his etheric spiritual soul experience as a being who can communicate telepathically with others if they're listening, and the human reality of being in a body that is different. And his poem represents the challenges that that presents in being seen, being heard, being understood, and being able to express himself. He did write earlier in our involvement as well about the visceral pain that he has experienced in not being able to convey his understanding and his vast intelligence and comprehension of all sorts of amazing things. So Bren's calling is for all humans to look beyond the veil of his human form and to see the truth of the being that's housed within his body. So he said to the authors on Sunday with our last meeting, "Thank you for the beaming field we have imbued together through the manuscript of our wisdom." And I thought that that was just perfectly said. This is more than just a few people. As I've said, we have created a field, a light, bright field of energy that is palpable to highly sensitive people with sensitive neurological systems. This is why it is so important that we all heal, because when we walk into a room with a neurodivergent person who's highly sensitive, our very experience or their very experience of our energetics can really undo someone. So this is a really important message that Bren has to share. So please read his beautiful poem. I am just, as I said, I'm so honored and privileged to have been able to guide Bren to becoming a published author. Yay! And I'm so encouraging him to keep writing because he has so much to say. He is a thought leader. I believe he can really change the way people perceive autism, especially profound autism. So, Bren, when you're watching, love you. Thank you for bringing your beautiful energy to our group. We hope you are well soon, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next group meeting. All right, Rachel. Miss Rachel.
Hi.
Hey, I love the
Hello.
background you've got going on there. Your beautiful property.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's a beautiful day outside, so I thought I would take advantage of that.
It is gorgeous.
Thank you.
So let's hear from you. I'm so excited to know how things have been for you, starting with what the whole process, the journey, this writing catharsis. How has it been for you?
Simply put, life-changing. Who could have thought that?
A little,
Sorry?
only a little thing, just life-changing.
Just a little thing, life-changing. Oh, it's been a beautiful process, Kristy, that you've guided us through. And I think if anyone thought that this was just a writing project, oh, sorry, I'm just going to grab a very barky dog.
Oh, we can't hear the barking, if that's any
Oh, you
consolation.
can't. Oh, okay, that's good to know.
Hi,
So,
Luna.
hey, Luna, say hi. Yeah. So if anyone thought it was just a writing project, they would have been exceptionally surprised in terms of what was on offer. And I think that's what's really important. To me, it was less about the writing and more about the process. And the writing was the outcome and the benefit, as you know, of the process. But oh wow, your support throughout the 12 months, the skills that you shared with us, the processes, the healing processes that we went through together as a group as well. Like, there's so much power in working together. I think that's really important to say as well. So yeah, I really enjoyed the fact that I was able to put time aside, dedicated time aside, to actually achieve one of my life goals, which is to become a published author. So I've now written a chapter in a book that is published, and I'm very excited to be able to say that has happened. There were moments where I didn't think it was going to happen, I have to say. But yeah, thank you, Kristy, for all of your support. I call your process a divine process that you've created. And I just want to say a big shout out to each of the authors from the Wisdom Keepers. Like, it's been just an absolute privilege to work alongside of you.
Thank you. That is so lovely, and it really is so much more than it's easily conveyed what this project has been like and what it's been about. You know, you can only put so many things on a page, can't you?
Yeah.
And it's hard to convey the depth of what the experience is like. So thank you for putting that into words for all of us. I appreciate that. Wow. So what did it change about you? What did you discover about yourself through this process?
Okay, so I discovered a fair bit about myself. Originally, I was going to write from my professional experience rather than my personal experience. And I think for most of my life, I have really aligned who I am to my professional life. So I haven't allowed much time, I think, to delve into my personal side of things and my personal values and my personal perspective on things. So it was an opportunity for me to reflect on something that has been profoundly joyful in my life, and just to feel so grateful, pretty much like Sam said as well, you know, just being so deeply grateful for the opportunity that I had.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
yeah, so some of the things that I really loved was working with a group of people. Like, a lot of the work I do is quite individual. So I work mostly one-on-one with people. So to have this opportunity to work as a group was fabulous. And just, yeah, by writing, going through the process with you and then writing my chapter, it allowed me to gain a deeper insight and connection with myself. So that's pretty profound.
Pretty profound, I would say. I think it's no accident that there was a bit of dog yapping in the background, though, given that your chapter is about the transformative nature of animals for
Absolutely.
looking after neurodivergent beings, and how your animals have helped you and moved through alongside you through this whole journey of life, but also, you know, the special moments with them. So it's a really beautiful chapter. It really is. So from your chapter, what is the core thing that you want people to know? What's your core message that you want to share?
The core message through my chapter gosh, that's a really good question. I think I did answer this question earlier, but I answered it from a different perspective. So
any perspective works.
okay, so I think from the program perspective, the one core message of wisdom I would like to share would be that if you've ever felt like you had a story that's within you and you're just not sure how to get that story out, you're perhaps not sure where the starting point is, or, you know, I think each of us were, when we first started out, even wondered if there was a value in our story. That if you ever felt that way and you really do feel called to write, then I'd encourage you to engage with Kristy with the Wisdom Keepers, and she can help you move forward with your storytelling in a very profound way. So that was my my core message that I wanted to share. But if I relate it back to my chapter, I think what I would like to share is the importance of assistance animals in our community, that they have a big place, a big part in our lives. So the people who use assistance animals, they mean a lot to them.
Mm.
And I just think it's obviously I'm incredibly grateful for Jacob to have him by my side.
Yeah.
You'll get to hear a bit more about him in my chapter. I just think the message is that assistance animals are wonderful. Please respect them and let them do the work with their handlers.
Yeah, I think that's really important too. You know, many people don't actually know what the etiquette is for working with assistance animals in public spaces. So I think, you know, it's a really important chapter to highlight some of that. And I think if there are any, what do you call them, policy makers in the house?
Yeah.
Could we please have proper funding for proper assistance animals
Oh, yes,
and for
please.
emotional support dogs and all the things?
Yes.
You know, that's so necessary. Animals are just incredibly soothing, and there's tons of science that prove that this is the case. I just wish the policyholders would get on board with it and help us be helped by animals in many ways. My little support dog died last year, and it was devastating for our household, and we miss him terribly. So I think it's one of those things that is so necessary. I know Nat's got Natalie's Natalie's assistance dog. It's such a hard thing to get approved as having an assistance dog. So yeah, that's a good message to pass on. And as for yes, I really appreciate you saying that too, because sometimes I'm not really good at putting out what I can do for people as well as I could as well. So I appreciate you saying that. If you don't know what to write, I can help you.
You sure can.
If you don't have any belief that you can write a story, I can help you. You do have value. Your story has value. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a fundamental belief of mine. Everyone has an important story to tell, and there's wisdom in everybody's journey. So thanks for that, Rach.
Pleasure.
All right, we're going to hand it over to Miss Eva. Hello, Eva.
Hello.
Welcome to the party.
Thank you.
I know you're nervous, honey. And, you know, before we got on camera, we're all just sort of having a chat and going, I don't know if I can do this. But you're here, you're on camera, you've done the hard work, and now you can say something. And if you want to read the whole thing, that is more than doable. So I'm going to hand it over to you. And I'd love to know firstly, what has this writing journey been like for you? And then I'm going to just let you roll with it.
Yeah, in true ADHD spirit, my brain is bouncing all over the shop today. So I came prepared with a script. So
Good on you. Well done.
Thank you. So what writing has meant for me, so what my journey has been like, is that what you're asking?
Yeah. What's the journey, the writing journey been like for you?
Honestly, it's been an incredibly transformative process. So ever since I was little, I've always wanted to tell my story and to put my experiences into words in order to make sense of everything that I've been through. Being part of a supportive group of authors has been amazing. I felt a deep sense of connection, encouragement, and shared purpose throughout this whole process. The mentorship has guided me in refining my message, and the writing process itself has been both challenging and rewarding. I've learned so much about self-expression, vulnerability, and storytelling, and seeing my words take shape in a published book is beyond exciting. This experience has also deepened my commitment to advocating for inclusive education, and I feel more empowered than ever to use my voice for change. The timing couldn't be more perfect as I step into my role as a fully qualified teacher in just 2 months. I know that this journey has strengthened my purpose. I'm more determined more now than ever to create learning environments where every student feels seen, valued, and supported.
Really good. So important. I love your chapter covering the educational side of things. That was a really valuable addition to the whole book, coming from a young person's perspective as well. You know, you're not fresh out of school.
Yeah.
and just finishing uni, and it's been a pretty tough journey all the way, but you've shown incredible strength to not only bring yourself through that, but to bring forward the inequalities and illuminate some of the challenges that you've experienced and how that could be different for people coming up behind you. So well done, you. How do you think this story changed your life personally, going through this experience?
Honestly, I know what I've been through in my life, but putting it into words just really highlighted how much I've grown throughout my life, and how significant the challenges that I've overcome have been very significant. Even as a young child, like in primary school, especially navigating education and asking all the questions, why am I different? And to the person that I am today, completely embracing my differences and loving that I am neurospicy and that my brain isn't the same as everyone else's. I love that I think differently, and it just makes me so proud.
Yeah. And you and I, oh, somebody's got a microphone on. You and I have been working together for a long time too, haven't we? About, gosh, almost 3 or 4 years as well, I think.
Yeah, it's been like 3 or 4 years. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, amazing. And the girl that I met has been risen into this glorious woman. It's a funny way to put it, but just the strength and resilience and passion that has erupted from you through this journey has just been amazing, and really being able to tune into that passion and then funnel it into something that will make a difference to other people has been there the whole time since I first met you. This desire to change the world is just really prominent, and now you're actively doing it. How old are you? 22 or something?
Yes, turning 23 in
22.
August.
Right. Yeah. So you're well on your way. And this is the point, the more of us who figure our shit out sooner than later, the faster we can get on with our work in the world and making things better for those who come behind us. So well done, Eva. What's been the best part? What's been the best ever part of this journey for you?
Just seeing my story come together, and I had an idea about what I was going to write about. I felt that on my heart, like I knew exactly what I wanted to write, but not, I didn't know obviously how it was going to turn out, and just how it has turned out is amazing, and I'm so impressed with how it's all
It has.
panned out. Yeah, and also just working with a bunch of beautiful, like-minded people. It's been a really amazing, supportive, and encouraging environment. It's so beautiful reading and just learning about everyone else's journeys. And this is why I did it, because if only I could have gotten my hands on this book when I was a little girl, this would have made a world of difference to my life. I think we all need to hear these stories so that we don't feel alone out in the world trying to navigate this neurotypical world of ours. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think you said that so well, so well. This is it. This is why we do what we do, is so that other people don't have to suffer as much as perhaps we have. So well done. And I agree with you. I think that there are going to be many people who are going to benefit from your chapter in particular. And so for those of you watching, listening in the room, please pass Eva's chapter, if not the whole book, right? Eva's chapter, pass it to your teenagers. Let them read what it's like, to come through something challenging, really hard. My own teenagers, Eva, has been quite an inspiration to my own teens who are a few years behind her. So it's really beautiful to see us all helping each other move through the world. So thank you, Eva. Is there anything else you want to say, your core message, final words of wisdom to pass on? I think what you said was perfect, but if there's anything else, by all means, go for it.
Just thank you so much for supporting us, and I can't wait for you all to read it.
I know, right? I really hope everybody reads it. If you buy it, do read it.
Yes.
Thanks,
Thank
Eva.
you.
Thank you. All right, Miss Sarah. Hi, sweetheart. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Can you
That's
hear me
good.
okay?
Are you feeling good?
I'm okay, yeah. I'm actually was unable to find a private room in the library, so I'm actually sitting in the middle of the library surrounded by people at the minute. So I keep my voice down and make it brief if that's okay. But yes, I'm in the middle of the library.
That's hilarious that you're in a library on publishing day. I think that's great. How have you been going? It's been a really full-on journey for you. It's brought up all the things that needed to be released.
I think it's brought
Tell
up
us a
pretty
little
much.
bit about that.
I think it's brought up pretty much everything. It's deeply challenging. Brought up many unexpected blocks. Putting myself out there, feeling not good enough. I definitely didn't see myself as being a published author. But with your amazing support, and it really has been amazing, and working with everybody else, I've been able to really push through everything, and I can't believe I actually created the chapter, and it's just incredible. Yeah, so
It's pretty wild, isn't it?
it has been wild. Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. This morning, for everyone, when she arrived at the library, well, I'd set Sarah a little task to write, "I am a published author" in big print on a piece of paper, because she really was challenged by owning her work and owning this journey. And this is one of the great things, it really does open up your window of tolerance for all sorts of things, and shows you what you're capable of, things that you never knew you'd be able to do. So I'm really proud of you, Sarah. I'm really, really proud. So what's the core piece of wisdom that you want to share from your story? What is it that you
Well,
really want people to know?
very much like Cass, I tend to tighten up when and lose my words. So I wrote it down too. So this is what I came up with. So true wisdom lies in the resilience of the human spirit and the courage to listen to our inner voice and the strength to walk our own unique path, no matter how different that may be from others. So my journey has shown me that healing both physically and emotionally begins when we trust ourselves. By tuning into the body's innate wisdom, releasing past traumas and embracing transformation, we unlock the power to restore our health and step into our fullest potential. And my hope is that through my story, you will find the inspiration to honour your truth, trust your path, and step forward with unwavering determination, knowing that healing is always possible.
Oh, that's perfect. Congratulations, published author.
Thank you.
And just to sum up, let's look at what's been the best part, because I know it's been challenging, but what's been the best part?
Definitely the regular Zoom meetings. I've just found those incredible. I wrote some notes on this too. So just being led so beautifully as well. Like, you've been so supportive and just really unconditional. It's just been amazing. And just uncovering so much of ourselves and all those layers that we uncovered, and from so many perspectives. So everything that I've learned, I think it's allowed me to really ground myself and create a foundation from which I now feel I can bring my offerings to the world.
Yeah, very well said. Thank you so much. This is the thing, isn't it? And I'd say all our authors would agree with you that it has created a foundation for a future life that perhaps wasn't visible last year. It wasn't actually there. And now suddenly, tip of the iceberg of we've come to this point, and we've written about our previous life, and now we're writing our life going forward. We're rewriting our story going forward, with a new sense of who we are, what we're capable of, and how we want to serve humanity going forward from here. And I know that you've got some amazing, beautiful things. Sarah is a beautiful, amazing author, and now she's also a painter, painter, artist, I meant to say, and now she's a published author as well. She's a multifaceted, wondrous human being who is such a compassionate soul herself. And Sarah, I'm going to throw you under a bus for a second. In the future, sometime when she's ready, Sarah is going to be branching out and offering healing services as well to people. So, which is great because we need more loving, compassionate, whole, healthy humans to guide other neurodivergent beings as well. So well done, Sarah. Incredibly proud of you, and so proud that you, even in the middle of a library, showed up. I mean, come on, everyone. Sarah's in the house. Well done, honey.
Thank you.
Really, really great. All right. Miss Natalie, over to you, superstar.
Unmute.
Unmute.
So many people would like that mute button on me when I was younger.
Natalie, you've always had a way with words, haven't you, sweetheart?
Sort of, yeah. Not when I'm nervous and choked up, but yeah.
Oh, look, it's so great. I know you've had a difficult week as well. And you know, it's been up and down for all of us this week in different ways. But I'm so proud of you for showing up as well. I know it's been tough, and you had the year from hell to get to here. You know, way too many people dropping out of your life due to death and illness. So I am just amazed at your fortitude, but I think where it's coming from is an absolute driving passion to show up. You have not stopped. You've temporarily regrouped, you know, grounded in, sorted yourself out, and come forward again when your earliest possibility. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what this journey, this writing process experience has been like for you?
Well,
Difficult.
I feel a little strange because my chapter isn't not, it's not about my neurodivergency. However, when you read it, you will see that I am. By
It
the
makes
way,
sense. It makes total sense, and it still fits within the vibe of the book. Oddly, even though it's not directly your experience with neurodivergence, it makes total sense in the grand scheme of the book. Yeah.
And also because I grew up with a spiritual mother, which is what the book's very much about. She used to try and raise us to be psychic like her and never tell the children no, you know, let our imaginations go, whether it's imagination or not. That's what she was interested in, finding out whether it's things the ethereal is real or not, you know. And by telling children no, you know, that it's a imaginary friend or something like that, then that's blocking us and making us really live in 3D. So as an adult, I've been wondering lately, because I wasn't diagnosed until I was 46. Sadly, yesterday marks the day, well, actually triumphantly, yesterday marks the day, it's 12 years ago I tried to take my life. Now, I went through a lifetime of up and down depression and taking things really hard. I didn't know until I was, after trying to take my life and being diagnosed, what it was, and then everything made sense. And I'm so proud to finally have a diagnosis. They'd say, oh, you're borderline personality, oh, you know, you're bipolar, oh, you're manic depressive. No, I knew I was ADHD because my brother told me what it was in 20s, and I'm like, yeah, I am that. I've got PTSD from a lot of childhood trauma, but the Asperger's, 3 times taking the test, right on the board, totally makes sense. My mother used to say, Natalie can't lie when she should lie. You know, I look at photos of me when I was little and I was very shy. But then all of a sudden it changes and I'm this flamboyant character, always putting a character on. That's my masking. You know, I learned to hide my shyness in new situations. I went to 9 schools, so I always I had learning problems, and they didn't even know. They just thought I was being disruptive and not trying. So I went through all of that. So yeah, the book, I did start writing about neurodivergence and growing up that way, but I kept coming back to my original thing, which was writing about that voice, a voice that just comes from nowhere. You've probably heard of some people who are listening now, you've probably heard people speak of it where they're driving in traffic and something says, turn right. It's like that kind of voice. And it is a directive. It's not you. It's nothing conscious. It's not even your intuition. That's all softer. The voice is literally demanding, and that's why you'll see when you read the book, it's in capitals and bold, because that's how it sounds. It's almost scary, but you know it's a directive from a loving soul. You get that feeling, you know. And I know it took me a while to realize the times that I've heard it, this is actually the voice talking to me, or it's giving me a message, and why. So yeah, I went through a lot last year, and I kept coming back to having to write about the voice. So that's what I did. I wrote about that voice.
Beautiful. Yeah, look, and it's so relevant for many of us in the room, and in the group, I mean, you know, listeners and readers. It's relevant that so many ADHD autistic people have access to higher sensory information, extrasensory information, high
Exactly.
level intuition, and can hear voices.
Yes. So
The
what that's
question
what I
is,
meant to say earlier. Sorry.
yeah.
Well, that was since I got my diagnosis. Here she goes chatting now. Since I got my diagnosis, it was like, so maybe with the spirituality bent, I'm starting to think all the star children are actually the neurodivergence. You know, they're a little bit different. So
Very
I'm on
possible.
that bench at the moment looking at that sort of stuff, because
Yeah.
there's a
So
lot of us at the moment, and they seem to be very perceptive
Mm.
to human psyche and things that other people aren't so perceptive to.
Yeah, look, and even it doesn't really even matter what we call it. It's important to validate, and I think you said it right at the start, and this is in your chapter too. It's important that we validate children in their experiences, especially our neurodivergent children, because we don't know what they're tuned into. Science doesn't understand neurodivergence properly. Science doesn't understand the brain or the heart or, you know, electromagnetics properly yet. So it's so important that we don't invalidate another neurodivergent person's experience for any reason, because that's their experience and we can't possibly know what that's like for them. So I love that you wrote about that in your chapter, and really supporting young people, if they do have experiences that we adults don't get, to explore that with them rather than shutting them down. And I think that's also been mirrored in some of the other chapters as well. So that's fantastic. So what's been the best part about this project for you, the writing project? Because I know it was really challenging to get the words there in the end, but you did. And I love your chapter. It's a beautiful mix of irreverent humor and deep wisdom, witty and yet serious at the same time. It's really clever.
I think I pinned it. I didn't really know what the gem was until yesterday when I was writing in our group. What I got, I thought what I got from it was that I did it through adversity. Having the week that the book launch was, that my chapter was due to you, my best friend had died. I was off to her funeral, doing her eulogy and photo slideshow. And I was getting all caught in my head, and you've just gone, do you need a little bit more time? I'm like, oh, I didn't think that was possible. So the fact that I got it done, yes, I was proud of that. But yesterday the penny dropped of what that was. Why I had such problems, because I'd lost mum and dad and Joe. So I was feeling, what does my book matter? You know, it felt egoic. Like it felt egoic to go ahead with my life and my goals and my dreams.
Wow.
There was loss and death around me. So that was huge that I picked that up yesterday. Yeah.
So you picked that belief system up, that limitation.
Yeah, and you are allowed to succeed throughout this death, and actually people need you. So there's the message. There's the message.
That's the message, is
Yeah,
that you know, it's okay to thrive.
Yeah.
In the face of adversity and other people's struggles. It's okay for you to thrive. And in fact, in my opinion, it is your right and responsibility to thrive, because when people see you step up and do something like this, there's that you're giving other people permission to thrive as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's an amazing message.
Thank you.
Yay.
Yep. Did you want I suppose that really is my message. However, another message I got that I would like to hand over.
Absolutely.
I got this hugely. The voice used to tell me, I didn't write this in my chapter, but it used to tell me, because it told me once, it's still in my dream book from 1999. I woke up and it said, you've got to go to Cairns and Townsville in August. I'm like, hey, I was in Darwin managing a club, and I'm like, where did that come from? The minute I opened my eyes, and I'm like, fat chance I'm managing a club here. You know, I won't be going there. But in August, I got the sack. I went, oh my God, it's August. I'm going to do what the voice said. So I went to Cairns and Townsville. I had 3 of the most spiritual, incredibly spiritual things that ever happened. I saw a UFO for the first time. I saw a beast at the end of my bed, but I knew that it had come out of me. So it was my anger and my hurt and my pain. And after doing a protection, I literally saw it, but I was in astral. And then fully conscious, walking along the esplanade in Cairns, I was told, slow down, slow down. So I started going, okay, well, how's this sound? My steps were like that. It was really slow. And it's very hard for me to do.
Yes.
So I slowed down, but then after about 20 minutes, I saw matter. It was the first time, like everything. I looked at the ocean. I was on the
Yep.
esplanade there, and I could see the grass and the concrete, the sky, everything. Like if it was a darker sky, there was a heavier density of particles. It was strange. The waves, they looked like they were coming in, but I could see the matter that sort of held them together. And I was like, oh my God, people take ayahuasca for that. I didn't have to.
Some of us don't need it. Us
No,
neurodivergent.
that's right. I'm petrified of taking anything like that. And I wish to God I could take medical marijuana, but I can't because I imagine things and I
You don't
get
need
sick.
to.
So, yeah, exactly right. I don't need to. I just need to slow my mind down.
Yes.
And that's what the voice has been telling me. That's what's come back to me throughout this. Slow down and
So
listen.
that
Yeah.
message, that's amazing for
Yeah.
all neurodivergent people, because we tend to try to keep up with the neurotypical world that's been structured not for people who like to flow through life
Yeah.
and have, you know, needs and differences, and it's not built for us. It's built to create urgency and a rush mentality that doesn't help anyone, let's face it. But to fly in the face of that,
Yeah.
to honor your own nervous system and to say, you know what, you can go rush on ahead if you want, but I'm going to slow down and actually look after myself and enjoy life.
Well, that's when it talks to me. That's when I get the wisdom.
That's when we all get the wisdom.
Yeah. But there is a difference though with the voice. It's so hard to there's the intuition and I've referenced John D'Souza. The X-Files was written about his original cases, or the first series was his original cases. He wrote a book called Clear Hearers about the voice, and he literally teaches us all how to coax it out. But there is a difference between coaxing it out and learning to romance it, which is where I'm at now, so that I don't have to wait for a screaming directive.
Yes.
I'm trying to romance, or any questions I want to ask, the answer will come to me if I slow down.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect message to pass on. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yay. All right. Is there anything else you want to say about the process itself before we wrap up? I'm just going to talk about our very last author, and then we're going to talk about the prize. We're going to draw the prize, so stick around. Any last words, Natalie?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
I think I've said enough.
Okay, darling.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Seriously. Okay, yeah, there is last
one. Oh, look out.
Well,
keep it short.
Because I've always wanted to be a writer. So I met Alan Pease on the airplane once, and I didn't know Alan Pease. You're a writer? And said yes. And we're talking about his book, and I said, how did you finish? He said, you need a deadline. And I'm like, oh, he's going to see this chapter of this book I'm writing here. He said, I'm only up to chapter 3, and it's due in I think it was 8 weeks. And I'm like, wow. And I thought, yeah, but you got paid for it. He got paid for it 15 years earlier, you know. So I'm like, how do I get a deadline? Well, you gave me a deadline, but when the deadline came, my friend died. So I was like, that's why I was having such a deadline. I didn't think it could be mixed. It could be totally. I thought deadline was imminent. But yeah, obviously there are compassionate reasons why you need to. Sometimes don't be so hard on yourself. Yeah.
And this was the thing, you asked for help, and for me to see you ask for help and ask for allowance was massive, because one of the biggest things for neurodivergence, as I said right at the start, is that we don't ask for what we need. And so I was so proud of you for doing that. That was great. All right, sweetheart, good story.
I'm done.
All right, thank you. Okay, Shannon Vandenberg, our keynote speaker, isn't able to be with us. She's in the US. So Shannon is, I'll just ask you to mute again, Nat, for me. Giggle. Shannon Vandenberg, CEO and visionary, has carved out a distinguished niche as a luminary of New Earth feminine leadership, wealth, and expression. With over 2 decades of experience in the entrepreneurial realm, Shannon is a multi-international best-selling author, including her Creatrix Awakened Oracle deck and Shaman Catalyst for Change, pioneering the emergence of the golden age feminine leaders and their movements. Shannon's unique approach as a Sophonic Lemurian Jaguar Rose Priestess enables her to curate transformative experiences, fostering a collective ascent amongst her community. Her revolutionary Jaguar Leadership Council exemplifies her innovative approach to leadership and self-liberation, marking her as a distinct figure in her field. Shannon's offerings are a gateway to wealth, expression, and the embodiment of the Golden Age icon, inviting people to step into their soul's mission with unwavering clarity and confidence, which is what we're all about here in the Wisdom Keeper Zone. So Shannon's personal life is a testament to her philosophies. She resides in the Four Corners region of Hesperus, Colorado. Here, in harmony with nature, she leads a balanced life alongside her husband and their 4 homeschooled sons, embodying the principles that she teaches. So when she's not working, she is tending to the homestead and embracing her Lemurian roots. So Shannon is an incredibly multi-dimensional being, like many, many, many of us neurodivergents are, including myself. She also doesn't use labels. However, her 7-year-old is a very different child, and he's phenomenal. Certainly raising young children on the spectrum who have amazing sensitivity is very, very hard to do. So love to you, Shannon. The reason I actually invited Shannon to be our keynote author, because of her vast expertise. She worked with me for about a year, mentoring through some of her challenges with her neurodivergence in her family. And then I participated in one of her books called The Children of the New Earth, which I strongly recommend you get a copy of as well. It's about children who are different, and I talk about raising my own neurodivergent children and my starseed origins, to pick up on you, Natalie. And there are many other takes on children of the new earth, what they are, why they're here, what they look like, how they move, that sort of thing. So Shannon has been a great supporter of me personally, and I of her. And so it was a beautiful, beautiful mutual exchange between the two of us to help get this baby book up and away into the world. All right. Wow. I can't believe I've still got a voice. I woke up at 2:30 without one, so we're doing well. Now we're going to choose the winner of the 3 prizes that are on offer. I'm going to randomly pick. Nobody in the room knows about this yet. I'm going to randomly pick one of our people on the call now, so one of our authors, to select a number, and that number is going to relate to the name on a spreadsheet that none of my authors have seen. So this is authentic. Okay. Bear with me while I open up the document. How's it all going in the chat? I'm sorry, I personally haven't been in there, but I know all the authors have been chatting with everyone. Have we still got people with us? It's a long session. If you've gone off and done other things, we completely understand, but do come back and pick up where you left off. Okay, so I'm going to ask for a number. Not enough screenshots. Maybe not everybody wants to publish a book. There are other prizes as well. So if you have put in a screenshot, then well done, you're on this list. Okay. I'm going to close my eyes and point to the screen. Eva, I'm pointing at you, Eva. That was a really weird thing to do.
So good.
Weird. Okay. I want you to choose a number from 1 to 50? First number that pops in your head, go.
43.
That would be a lady called Natasha Sharp. Natasha Sharp. Congratulations. You are the winner of a chapter in the book 2. Oh my gosh. A mentoring session, 6 months of mentoring and writing a book and publishing. Crazy. That's Cassie's cousin. No way. Amazing. Wow, I can't wait to hear how she feels about that. That's so cool. So cool. All right. So that's prize number 1. I'm going to have to write this down because I can't function multitask on devices anymore. My brain has failed me. So Natasha Sharp. All right, second prize is 60-minute intuitive life guidance session with yours truly, valued at $250. And as my authors can attest, I'm pretty good at my job. How's that for self-promotion? What? All right, so now we'll go for Cassie, darling. Choose a number between 1 and 50, please, for the second prize of a 60-minute session. Pop it in the chat if you don't want to talk.
Oh.
Sorry?
12.
12. That would be... Guess who? And I promise this is totally random. Natalie. The authors were not excluded from this. Natalie, you win a session, honey.
You know I need it.
We'll do readings.
Yeah. Oh, good idea. Bye.
Playtime. Awesome. Or anything you want. It's up to you. All right. And prize number 3. So we've got to exclude 43 and 12. You can't win again. Sorry. All right. Hang on. Rachel, you're going to pick the next number from 1 to 50.
I'm going with the number 4.
Number 4 is Jolene Coote. Jolene Coote, thank you so much for buying a book. You get a signed copy. Awesome. All right. Exciting. Congratulations, winners. We will post those announcements in the chat at some point. I'll probably do that after. I'm going to stop talking now. I just want to say again, thank you to those who have watched all the way to the end. I'm amazed. But if you've come back to this, thank you for watching and sharing our journeys with us. I will be breaking these up into individual sections eventually. That's a big editing job, but I will do it. So that you can watch them individually, and they'll be uploaded onto my YouTube channel, which is called Sacred Energy Mastery on YouTube. So please go and check that out. They'll be under the Activate Your Potential podcast. The other thing I want to tell you is if you want to write a chapter in the next book, we have already confirmed 3 authors. There are 10 spots available. So yay. If you want a spot, then book a call with me. My assistants, Christine and B, I believe they've dropped an expression of interest link below, or if not, I will do that. So you need to book a call with me because it is by application only. We want to make sure it's a good fit, you know, and that you've got the readiness and you're committed, and I'm committed, and we're all good to go. So please book an expression of interest quickly because it's filling fast already, and I literally only announced it this morning formally. Okie doke. Lots of love to all my authors. Thank you again. I'm so proud of you all. You've written some beautiful, beautiful work, and it's going to change lives. Get out there, spread it far and wide, share, buy your books, and we'll see you back in here with some more info about various things coming up soon, including the paperback release in a couple of weeks. Thanks, everyone. Bye.